It came to the point where that county government's completely running on our software. We built a PHP layer over the traditional content management platform to make it feel like it's very uniquely tailored to county government. So now we're gone to market. We've picked up one, two, three, four more counties, and the need and desire for the software is high.
Together in what we call a CoVentures world. The opportunity to be able to come together and not only share ideas, but also share resources and talent and, of course, finances. And so last year we started in cybersecurity space. We created a cybersecurity training program. And with security.world, we focused on some vertical markets for cybersecurity, like healthcare space, which is a biggie, as well as schools and different small businesses. Also, some of our peers, like Consulting Ace, was able to offer government grants, commercial incentives, and if you qualify, you can get government support and monies, which is really quite interesting. Also, with Entrepreneurs University, training on small, medium, and large-sized companies. We're also working with VenOps that's focused in the hospital environment, a really good vertical market with orthopedics as well. They've got a client base of about 1,000 hospitals, mostly rural hospitals. And the key there is to be able to help in not only compliance, but also they've stepped into an AI space to be able to provide some value with that. We're also working with some other AI peers, Echo.ai, Savvy.ai, that provides some healthcare and support for small and medium-sized businesses as well as their employees. Also working with Continuum Foundation, they have virtual solutions, not just NFTs and blockchain, but also cryptocurrency insights. And that's a big growing space that we look for. And so with that, also from a philanthropic and nonprofit standpoint, we're working with Blackbird Global. They focus on a cybersecurity space, but also they stepped into a healthcare space by promoting healthcare kiosks, and they've raised quite a bit of money in the African countries. In other areas like recycling and things that perhaps brings businesses together. My invitation is that you might consider joining our CoVentures world. We have a mastermind session that we do that every week, and the opportunities to meet other leaders. So that's my invitation. Certainly also that you can join our community, peersondemand.com, and freely participate in any of our events that are public, as well as our CoVentures world. Let's hear from you, Tony. Tony, you've got a very interesting environment. Hope also working with hospitals and providing for the environment, safety and support. And I'm wondering if you can share more about what is the big idea, Tony, for this year, 2025, in your business, and the opportunity, maybe the challenge. But let's start with the big idea that you have in your business.
Companies. So our big idea is one, what I alluded to, just um, broadening the platform so that it does a lot more and it becomes more central and critical to our clients. And then we're also just growing the team, growing our sales and marketing team so that we can get out there and start growing more. So we've been coming out of the startup mode, all self-funded. So my partner and I have self-funded it so that we could come to product market fix on our, or fit rather, on our own equity versus venture money where we'd give up a lot of equity. So for us, this is looking to be the breakout year. So that's our big idea.
Or what's the challenge that you're facing to the growth with the platform and getting more team members involved?
Exposure, and so exposure is just getting the word out that we exist and what we can do. And so then our way to tackle that will be through growing the team. So the sales and marketing team is what we're going to grow this year and get going. So are we looking for funding right this moment? No. Could we be looking for funding later this year? Yes, that's definitely a possibility.
That's interesting. Just so I'm clear about who's your ideal client. Is it hospitals or rural hospitals, big hospital? Who's your ideal client at this point, though?
Yeah, our ideal client are the big healthcare systems. So, down in Florida, what is it? I think it's not Health South Baptist, for example, Baptist Health. So, the rural hospitals aren't really a good fit for us just because they're so small. The
Yeah,
software is overkill for them. So for us, it's the larger. It's anywhere from 150 beds or more in a hospital that are ideal for us.
I see. Okay,
Well,
well, let's hear from Satya. Satya, you've got a very interesting direction, creating software, D3 that allows rapid deployment of programs. But maybe you could say a little bit better about what your focus is this coming year, especially with Deep Seek, OpenAI, 500 billion that's slated to build some sort of mega data center. So there's a lot going on. You're getting a lot of visibility. But Satya, I wonder if you could share more about it. What's the big idea in your industry and your business and opportunity and maybe the challenge you're facing? But first, the big idea in your business. Satya?
Yeah, the thing is, DeepSeek, normally traditional all LLMs, it's like a ChatGPT or a Llama or a, Google Gemini. So these, traditional way to run these things, you need a lot of GPUs. You know, like that is NVIDIA is manufacturing. But this guy, I was a with DeepSeek. I was able to install on my one of my computer. The Mac computer. It has a 12 core um, processor and 12 core GPUs. So in with 12 GPUs, I was able to run entire DeepSeek. So down the road, see, it means the Apple, the phone, without internet connection, so that chips can have these the LLMs means like your all artificial intelligence. We can run it on the small devices. So that will change the entire game of the intelligence. Means the software program means like my D3 will become very fast. Means now it's not that much. We need to tweak it to the new technology. If one guy breaks from ChatGPT, break it before ChatGPT. We were also here working, right? But uh, normally as a human, if you show them even a guy who is a moron from somewhere, if you show them Apple 10 times, and 11th time he can say this is Apple. But computer before ChatGPT, if you give to show the computer general intelligence, I have to give at least to 200,000 to 400,000 samples to understand it is Apple before but this guy broke it. Means OpenAI broke it, and now we moved it. But this guy DeepSeek, he made more simple. And so somebody will come next from the Salt Lake City here, or, somewhere, and that guy will make it now into a new era. So but no matter what, this is in the olden days, very few companies, few people, to find a job. For example, if I want to find a job, in the olden days, they used to print the resume, and they used to go across the companies, and they used to give the resumes. Now, hundreds of companies, thousands of people. So we need an artificial intelligence to manage this kind of huge data.
He's the CEO and founder for Simply Paperless. So yeah, I've known you when paper was first invented and you wanted to get rid of paper. Mitch, I wonder if you could, for the sake of Tony and Satya, share who you are, what you do, and maybe the big idea that you have for your business. You mentioned that you want to move, or in addition to the county governments, to find some other vertical markets. So there's some opportunities, there's some challenges, but first, if you could introduce yourself and also share a big idea that you might have. Mitch Steves.
Sure. I'm the president of Simply Paperless. We started in 2014. At that time, it was just to kind of stay in the space. I was a specialist for a company that sold print, and their focus was very broad and didn't really include this. And anyway, I was very committed to it. So I started my own company, created a partnership with them. I created a partnership with a Xerox company, a Konica Minolta company, and started to spread that way, right? And then through that process, we had a particular county government in Kentucky that we were doing really special things with, unique things with, not broadly, not so much broad. It came to the point where that county government's completely running on our software. We built a PHP layer over the traditional content management platform to make it feel like it's very uniquely tailored to county government. So now we're gone to market. We've picked up four more counties, and the need and desire for the software is high. Everybody that works for me is moonlighting, right? So our time of deployment is way too long. I kind of know how we shorten that. The guys that are doing it for me on nights and weekends need to be doing it full time, or I need partnerships with people that are interested in joining the fight and helping that way. But um, we we picked up a county last year that's pretty much all of it. It's the fiscal court, it's the animal shelter, it's the road department, it's the planning and zoning, it's the wastewater management, it's the ABC licensing, occupational taxes, net profits. We really have encompassed it all. We're integrated with Fiserv for credit card processing, so we offer a very unique solution with that. The trade shows that I go to now, the interest is incredibly high. I don't do any marketing now at all because I can't get done what we've got right in front of us. So my big idea is to pick up speed, is to scale pretty rapidly once we can pick up speed. It's taken us a year now to do a full county. I want to do that in 90 days. And then when we can do that in 90 days, I think that this can either we can scale independently with employees, or I can find strategic partners that are able to learn how to implement and train. And either of those is just fine with me, or even a large company that wants to buy it and run with it. I'm also open to that.
Yeah, you've got some great opportunities and great challenge. If you've got enough business that you can't add any more, that's a great opportunity. But so if you could scale up to speed it up, whatever that means, I don't know how much faster you could do it. Obviously, you're in technology, you're using technology would make it better than getting more people, because ramping up people may take a lot longer. So what are you doing to speed up your process, Mitch?
When we were working with the first county, we were just building an incredibly large database, and the opportunity is to sell the solutions in a modular fashion. So rather than just you buy what we call the product GovTracks, rather than buying GovTracks and implementing it all, we're selling road tracks, we're selling animal tracks, we're selling planning P&Z tracks, which is planning and zoning, AP tracks for accounts payable. And so we had to kind of take what we built over 5 or 6 years and then rebuild it in separate databases. The back end of our platform is SQL. We had to separate all of those, and so that when we have 500 or 600 fields per se, and we're taking that configuration that we have and we're redeploying it, we needed to separate the databases so that a county would have the opportunity to buy the road tracks for the road department if that's where they wanted to start, or buy the animal tracks if that's where they wanted to start. So that's what the last year has been, us rebuilding it into separate databases, and we have the animal tracks done that way. We've got the road tracks done that way. We've got the human resources piece done that way. And I can't remember even what we're working on now, but I think the court records and the what we call business tracks, which allows constituents to hit the website, pay their net profits, pay their occupational taxes, renew their business licenses, that sort of thing. And we've got that. So if you can imagine a world where all that is done without a piece of paper, we have achieved that. We're very scalable. I essentially take a product that's already been built. It's got millions of hours in development in it. It's called Square Nine is the developing company, and they have a suite of products which includes electronic forms, capture, storage, and workflow. And we essentially build the foundation, your digital filing cabinet, the repository, right, where all the content goes, all the content that's stored in an archive, that the associated data is stored in SQL. We can run a fairly large deployment just using SQL Express. Once it gets to a certain point where the volume is very large, that creates an issue and we have to upgrade to like a standard SQL environment. The front end, the capture is actually the index or the data that we captured in the capture process is temporarily housed in a Mongo database, handed off into SQL in storage. My guys that work with me have built a PHP layer on top of all of that, which is the user interface that the clients deal with. And what they like about that is it's very familiar. It looks the same. So if an employee is in the business office and they're handling tax payments, then they move to the animal shelter and they're dealing with animals, the user interface is the same across all departments. That's a big win for us. We're capping our annual support at $20,000 a year. You take these counties that are running human resource software, animal shelter software, road department software. They are in the vicinity of 100,000 a year. So I would argue our platform is better, stronger, and the value that we're providing is unmatched so far. We're offering both a cloud and an on-prem solution. The on-prem solution seems to be more popular. And I think that the reason that is that our cloud provider is actually a county government that has federal aid because of the location where they are located. It's considered a strategic threat. And so they get a lot of federal government funding to fund their emergency response center, which includes a pretty sophisticated data center. And so we've got all the horsepower needed to house the applications there. It's just so far, most other counties within the state aren't super excited about entering into that partnership with another county. So regardless of if it's in their best interest or it isn't, the political side of it, we kind of underestimated the significance of the complications with the political side of it. Having said that, the on-premise piece is working out pretty well. You know, you run into the standard troubles that you run into, and that some folks have an IT staff that's savvy and sophisticated, others don't have any at all, and are partnered with an MSP that is, you know, the application that you're installing is not their number one priority. Their focus kind of their attention begins and ends with network security, and so there are complications. Having said that, we continue to move forward, and the response is really strong. And you know, as we get to 6 or 7, we feel like that's the point where we'll be able to, given the demand, we'll be able to scale very rapidly. So my focus these days is how do I make that doable? Like, how do I implement? We'd like to take it from the length of time being the implementation to being really able to take it install it like an executable program, install the software, and then the length of time following that would just be training. And we're really intuitive, and so training is not that difficult, but it's mixed now. So we do a lot of we do a lot of implementation. We kind of put things into production. We troubleshoot the bug fixes along the way, and it's clunkier than I'd like, but it's much better. It's a much better problem to have than the one I had a few years ago, and that was how do I get the next account? Common connections that we make is with a data set associated with vendor invoices. And the vendor invoices, we've got the approval process built, and it's easily modifiable for a number of participants, cost thresholds, or whatever the conditions might be that would dictate that routing. But ultimately, it gets approved. And then when it's approved, we have a set of metadata. We've got invoice number, we've got vendor name, we've got the amount, we've got line item information if they need it. And then that all can be exported into a flat file. And essentially you use the RPI to take that flat file. And because the third-party software was cloud-based and required authentication, you use that RPI to open it, authenticate into it, and essentially key it in seconds rather than hours. So that was pretty neat. But my experience with that, and then just the lay of the land with AI and the idea that it can code, has me with an open mind toward it. I guess that's the best way to put it. Like, could it help? How could it help? How would I leverage it without losing control of it? I don't.
Traditional way of, the code is going to generate for example, if you are familiar with the PHP, is AI, it is replacing the software engineer, but the same code you see. So here you are reducing the cost and time. Other than that, the ultimate, you want the PHP code so that you can see the same thing. So it doesn't change. Only thing is you are replacing 10 developers with one machine with a cheaper price and faster. And so if you, but the whatever the process, the developing process, deployment process, everything is same. It doesn't, but it's all handled by the machine.
When we get to the point where, okay, this is complete, and instead of installing it once in the next year, I want to install it 20 times in the next year. And so what I need is an executable, right? Like, if we're looking for help there, my guys feel like, yeah, we can do it eventually, but in the day-to-day, we're very focused on, okay, this client wants this form to look a little bit different and act a little bit different, and making those modifications. And then we're building a couple of new pieces. One is reservations. So constituents that want to rent out a facility that the county owns can hit a calendar, see the availability, book it, pay for it, get a receipt from it. And we're building that out as a new track for a client that purchased it. We don't have it built yet, but we're building it. So it'll be another one that's added to our
great relationship here, Mitch, as you start to scale up with what Satya has and D3, the ability to provide results a lot faster, a lot quicker. And from what I understand, work with your area. The key here is the timing of it. How soon can you allocate your time and resources to focus on doing this? And maybe there may be a proof of concept that Satya can come up with. So I encourage you to connect with each other.
Rocky, thanks for the invitations and continuing to send those to me. Satya and Mitch, I love your stories. I think you both are on to something. So I wish you a lot of good fortune as you continue to grow. I'll be cheering you on from the sidelines here. I'll definitely be joining some future calls, Rocky, software and the healthcare executives, because yeah, I can see where there's opportunities here. I know we're running out of time and I've got to jump for a customer call, but Mitch and Satya, don't be surprised if I link up with each of you, because as you were going through this discussion, I could see how there could be something that, Mitch, I could give you some thoughts on what we went through, something similar to what you're going through. And then Satya, as we start to do more with our development using AI and having that quicker time to market and lower cost becomes more important for us as we're looking to do some stuff with our product as well. So thanks everyone for the time.
Yeah.
Appreciate meeting you all.